Prince Harry's actress girlfriend Meghan Markle joined him at the opening of tonight's Invictus Games, the first time she has attended an official engagement with the royal. Although the couple were not seated together at the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, she was sat just a few feet away from the Queen's grandson, who was accompanied by U.S. First Lady Melania Trump, wearing a purple dress and matching leather jacket slung over her shoulders. She was escorted by her close friend Marcus Anderson, who introduced her to Prince Harry last year. Her low-key presence marks the first time she has joined the royal for an official event and will intensify speculation that an engagement announcement is imminent. Harry, seated a quarter of a stadium away, occupied a VIP box alongside Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, U.S. First Lady Melania Trump and Ukraine's President Poroshenko. Before she took her seat, the First Lady met with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, his glamorous wife Sophie and his children Ella Grace and Xavier. Mrs. Trump spoke to Sophie first, saying, "It's good to see you, I saw you a few days ago." She then chatted briefly to Trudeau about the couple's children before telling him that her son Baron had spent the day playing soccer. From their vantage point, Harry and Melania had a perfect view of the stage, which was festooned with black and yellow Invictus logos, at the Air Canada Centre. The show itself kicked off late at approximately 8 p.m. EST with a fanfare and welcome before the Parade of Nations, featuring 550 Albanian Lex athletes, commenced, along with members of the Canadian military. Other performers at the musical extravaganza include singers Sarah McLachlan and Alessia Cara and folk band La Bottine Sorienti. The Smiling Boot, the Invictus Games, now in its third edition, was started in 2014 by Prince Harry and was inspired by the USA's Warrior Games. Competitors are drawn from 17 countries, including the UK, USA, Canada and Australia, with the US alone sending 90 athletes. All are former or serving members of the military, many of whom suffered life-changing injuries during combat. Other countries taking part in this year's event include France, Germany, Estonia, Afghanistan, Iraq and Italy. Servicemen and women from Ukraine, the Netherlands, Denmark and New Zealand will also compete. The event will last a week, beginning with Saturday evening's celebrity-studded opening ceremony and will end with a concert featuring Bruce Springsteen and Bryan Adams. Last year's event was held in Orlando, Florida, and along with Prince Harry, then Vice President Joe Biden and his wife Jill attended. The first edition, held in London, saw senior members of the royal family descend on the games, among them the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall, and the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. Next year's event will be held in Sydney, Australia. The name of the games is drawn from a Victorian poem by William Ernest Henley, written in 1875, titled Invictus. The final two lines have become the game's motto and read, "I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul." Henley was himself an amputee and the poem reflects his own battle with illness and adversity. In his case, amputation followed a bad bout of tuberculosis at the age of 12 and for the rest of his life, the red-bearded poet was forced to use a crutch, despite his injuries and repeat visits to hospital after his other foot became diseased. The journalist and author married and had one daughter, Margaret. He eventually succumbed to tuberculosis at the age of 53 at his home in Woking in 1903 and was buried in Bedfordshire. Prior to the inaugural Games in London 2014, the poem was read in a promotional video by actors Daniel Craig and Tom Hardy. Sporting events, conducted in the style of a Paralympic-type competition, include swimming, archery, wheelchair basketball and athletics. Golf is a new addition to this year's lineup and rowing, sitting volleyball and wheelchair rugby events will also be held. The mascot at the 2017 event is a cartoon Labrador Retriever dog named Vimy. Vimy refers to Vimy Ridge, an engagement during the World War I Battle of Arras in 1917 which saw the Canadian Corps ordered to storm a German position. Previous French attacks had failed, with the loss of 100,000 lives, but the men of the Canadian Corps prevailed, losing 10,000 in the process. Earlier in the day, Prince Harry became the first member of the royal family to meet a Trump since last year's presidential election. Mrs. Trump and Harry spent less than 30 minutes together before the royal left for another engagement, the Jaguar Land Rover driving challenge. Despite its brevity, the meeting appeared cordial with the pair warmly shaking hands before settling down to talk in a room at the Sheraton Hotel.